Yo, this is Jay from Straight Smoke Gaming. In today's video, we're going to go over 5 NFL hot takes that I came up with here for you. Orb Smoke made a video like this, so that'll be linked down in the description. Go ahead and check this out. So this is technically part 2, and me and Orb are not opposed to making this a video series. If you guys are interested in that, go ahead and let us know. These are fun to come up with, honestly kind of easy, and, we just pretty much talk about it and give you reasons as to why. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the first one I have, Derrick Henry being less involved offensively this year. Now, there's no surprise. He is getting up there in age, so whether it's a matter of production just starts to fall off, because that does tend to happen to running backs around the age of 30, he is over that mark. So whether he just stops producing as much as he is, or if the team just starts working in other guys, which I wouldn't be surprised by. They got 2 other good backs, Justice Hill, good receiving back, solid backup, and Keaton Mitchell, guy we haven't seen a lot of. He got hurt a little bit last year, kind of held him out, but he's been healthy this year as far as I know. So he's at a full training camp with the team. So as long as he stays healthy, I do think the Ravens want to work him in. The little bit we have seen of him, he's looked pretty good. Can't lie there. And just Lamar, too. He's a good running quarterback, so that's going to cut into some opportunities there. Derrick Henry's not really known as a receiving back, so I wouldn't look for him to be too involved in the receiving game, which obviously does limit how much he'll get on the field, because he is not a good receiving option. You do have Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell, who are better than that. And just taking a look at the passing game as a whole, I think the Ravens did a pretty good job bringing in DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins isn't a 1 anymore, but I do think he's a solid vet, a solid 2 or 3 at times, that could work in well. I do think he would be the wide receiver 3 on this team, with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman ahead of him. But I do think that with Hopkins being there, he could help mentor those young 2 fellas and help them get a little bit better on the offensive side of the ball as a receiver. So with that, all that being said, I really wouldn't be surprised if Derrick Henry is a little bit less involved this offseason, or this NFL season, because what they've did in the offseason. But overall, I do think Derrick Henry's going to be good. I'm not saying don't draft him in fantasy. He's not going to be used, because Derrick Henry is the clear RB1, but I don't know if he's going to be out there as much as he was last year. Number 2, the Eagles don't win the NFC East this year. Now, this one is a little bit surprising, but I have good reasoning, I believe, and I'm sticking to this. The Commanders had a really good season last year. Now the Commanders, they got a lot of stuff going on with Terry McLaurin requesting a trade, not practicing. He wants paid. I think sooner rather than later, they are going to figure out that Terry McLaurin needs to get paid, and for them to be at their best, to be able to compete with the Eagles, you're going to need to pay Terry McLaurin. I have no doubts that that'll get done. Even the Cowboys. Cowboys, if they pay Micah Parsons and they keep him on the team, which I don't know if that's going to be possible. Micah is not happy right now and really wants out. But if they do figure that out and he stays, I like their chances of being able to compete with the Eagles this year. Eagles lost a lot of guys, a lot of key starters on the offense and defensive side of the ball. A lot of people on the offensive line. I believe they released Darius Slay, who was a good corner for him last year. So, there's just a lot of change coming to this team. A lot of different players. They lost their OC, Kellen Moore. I believe he's the head coach somewhere now. So there's a lot of turnover that happened for the Eagles, and that's what normally happens after winning the Super Bowl. So I'm not sold on the Eagles this year, just because I believe it was they lost 8 starters offensively and defensively combined. And like I said, I believe they lost Kellen Moore, their head coach, now the head coach of the Saints. So with that all being said, I look for the offense to take a step back, defense take a step back. And if they are going to be as run-dependent on Saquon Barkley, teams got a year of film. They know what the Eagles do. They know you run the ball. You stop the ball. You stop running, and you got to try to have Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm. So, there's a game plan. There's a lot more film. People know what they're getting themselves into going against the Eagles. So I don't look for the offense and defense to be as dominant this year as they were last year, potentially costing them the East. Number 3, Caleb Williams finishes as a top 10 quarterback. Now, if you guys have been paying attention at all, Caleb Williams had a really rough training camp. But if you're really getting down to brass tacks here, I would rather him have a rough training camp than a rough regular season. So, I'd rather these mistakes happen now, learn from them, get better before the season starts. They got a solid offense here. They brought in Colston Loveland. They drafted Luther Burden as well. So they brought an offensive line help. That's going to help Caleb Williams as a quarterback offensively. The defense is still good. A good defense helps your offense, because then your offense doesn't feel like they have to score every time. You're not in a Cincinnati Bengals situation where you have to go down the field every single time, put points up on the board because your defense won't get a stop. That's not how the Bears are. The Bears got a solid defense. I really like their defense. I think they're going to be underrated this year. Probably one of the better defenses. I've been hearing good things about them in training camp. But Caleb Williams, struggling a little bit in training camp. I'm not worried about that. Because of the weapons that he has. I believe when it comes down to it and it's time to put the product on the field and show what you're made of, I believe in Caleb Williams. He's the first overall pick for a reason. There's potential there. I think he will adapt. He is learning a brand new system because they brought in Ben Johnson, who's a best offensive mastermind in football right now, one of the best, if not the best. To me, the best probably. Yeah, he was the main guy you could go out and get for a head coach. The Bears did that. So, I think Ben Johnson will help him. I think they'll make it maybe a little bit easier at first, and then we'll adapt from there, and it'll get a little bit more complex. And I have faith in this team. I have faith in Caleb Williams. I have faith in Ben Johnson. They gave him a bunch of weapons to succeed. They gave him a head coach to succeed. Now it's just time. We got to see him do it. Like I said, it might start a little bit slow because he is learning a new system, something he's not used to. But in the end, I do think Caleb Williams will be a top 10 QB. Number 4, Michael Penix gets benched at some point for Kirk Cousins this season. Now, this might be a little bit confusing because Kirk was so bad last year. But overall, taking a look at it, normally 2 years removed from an Achilles or an ACL injury tends to be a player's best year. This will be Kirk Cousins' second year removed from it, and he is now the bench player. As long as the Falcons don't cut him, I believe that this will happen at some point. Because Penix, we only seen him for a couple games last year. He's still kind of a rookie. I do believe there will be offensive struggles, growing pains, because it's like you're using a rookie quarterback without the rookie label. But overall, Penix is a good quarterback. I haven't seen much of him, so I do think this team will struggle. And if they do struggle, I don't think the coaching staff will hesitate to sit him down, learn a little bit more behind Kirk, give Kirk another shot. And if he catches some success there, they might leave him in. I mean, this team is trying to make the playoffs. They have a solid roster right now. They want to make playoffs. So if the team does struggle, I believe, especially early, they will look to switch to Kirk Cousins to try to help them save their playoff chances. And, I don't think that's a bad option. You're paying Kirk Cousins a lot of money. You paid him to be your starting quarterback. You don't want to remove him. So if the team is struggling and, you think you can get a spark with Kirk Cousins, why not turn to him, ask for him to go in? I know Kirk Cousins wouldn't have a problem with it. He still wants to be a starting quarterback in this league. And I think Penix could benefit from it. I don't like rushing quarterbacks into situations. I like guys that can sit for a little bit. Penix was not like that last year. He got thrown into the fire. I think he would have benefited from learning a year, maybe 2 years from Kirk. So I do think that if this team struggles, they will look to Kirk. They have a really tough schedule, so I wouldn't be surprised for that to happen. Finally, number 5 is the hottest take that I have in this video. Lions finished 4th in the NFC North this year. So reason being is because just everyone else got substantially better in my book. A little bit of a downgrade for the Vikings at quarterback, but overall, I love the rest of their moves. They improved the defense. They improved the offensive line, getting a starter from the 49ers to fill in on that offensive line, and more depth at running back with Jordan Mason. Can't go wrong there. I think J.J. McCarthy will work out well. I think J.J. will fit in well. There might be a little bit of a downgrade, but overall, I think J.J. McCarthy will work out well. And if it does all work together like it should, the Vikings, they should have a solid team. Same thing with the Packers. The Packers had a pretty good offseason. They did lose Jair Alexander, so that sucks. But they did bring in some solid guys like Nate Hobbs. I love their first-round draft pick. Matthew Golden, I think he'll fit in well with the team. So the Packers, they have a chance to compete with the Lions. They have a solid roster. They returned a lot of their roster and their coaching staff, so I don't think there will be too much of a change there. And then the Bears, as long as Caleb Williams does figure it out, Ben Johnson figures it out, and they get this team working well, I think they'll work out well. I think they have a chance. Every team in this division has a fighting chance. The Lions, though, they lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost their starting center. That was kind of he was like the main guy on this offensive line. So they lost some important pieces there. Those are just the main three. So, they're going to have, those are some big shoes that you're going to have to fill. And as long as the Bears, they click like they're expecting to, the Packers continue to do what they are doing, and the Vikings, as long as there's not too much of a change at quarterback, and the Lions, I wouldn't be surprised if they took a little bit of a step back. Those are three big guys to lose. So, I do see a window to where that happens. I'm not 100% sold on this, though. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of these hot takes. Give us some of your own. We could talk about it. I'll reply to your comments, see how likely I think that is to happen. But overall, I think by far the hottest take I had was the Lions finishing 4th. But I do think that I do see a window to where that happens. But yeah, like I was saying at the beginning, if you guys enjoyed this video, go and comment down below. Let us know so we can make more of these videos. Me and Orb, we like making these videos. We like thinking about these types of things. They're fun to do. We like to get interaction too. So comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. But when it comes to this video, that's all we got. So if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub for more Madden content. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.